Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hello, hi, I'm Candace or Candy, and this is little Riley or Rye Bear, as we like to call her. She is just having a bit of a nap right now. I wanted to pop on to talk about my birth story because it was crazy, and I feel that, the more knowledge we have out there, the better. I wasn't really sure, and I'm actually getting all emotional thinking about it. I am 1 month postpartum, so she just had her 1 month birthday. Yay! And, um, yeah, it was a lot, let me say. And, I am so proud of myself and my body to think that I could get through it, but wow, okay, I need a break. Let me just say that COVID and all the restrictions this January really did not help. If you guys don't know, I live in Canada, and I feel like the restrictions here have been absolutely insane to the point where it literally makes you feel unsafe because you can't have the choices that you have made for yourself and your family, in the sense of what kind of hopefully birth plan you would like. You end up feeling handcuffed or pushed in a corner as to your decisions and the lack thereof, in the sense that you can't have the team you would like or who you would like at your birth, or wearing a mask and stuff like that just made things really, just really harmful as the person that is receiving the care. So I won't get into it more than just saying that. And no judgment, everyone has their own, way that they want to have a birth plan or have their baby or anything like that. This is just my story, and I hope it helps people out there, because there's certain things that I had no idea, especially in the postpartum, and I really wish I would have known, because I feel like it would have really helped me through a lot of things. But regardless to say, so I actually went into labor on her due date, which is crazy. And I must say, I really didn't like being pushed by my midwife team, in the sense of getting a stretch and sweep, and just all of the things that they went through as to why you would have to be transferred to a hospital. Because that being said, I wanted, hopefully at the time, a home birth because of COVID and everything else, and my whole pregnancy had been very low risk. I was debating between a birth center or a home birth, but because the birth center is right downtown and literally the hospital is just a 5-minute drive east of my house, like literally I can see the smokestack from my bedroom window, which I am in right now. So I decided I would have a home birth because we could just get shuttled to the hospital so easily if anything came due. And on my birthing team, I wanted my doula as well as my midwife. But again, because of COVID and restrictions and stuff, it was a mixed bag as to, my whole birthing experience. So on the 29th of January, I got up from my bed, and I have 2 cats that like to sleep with me, so it was very treacherous I don't like to disturb them, and I wanted to go to the bathroom. And as I got up and was, doing a ridiculous balancing act of trying not to disturb my cats, I felt a pop / heard something, and that was my water breaking. At that point, because I'm a first-time mom, you really don't have to or I was told I didn't need to really take that much into account. And I just wanted to go back to bed because, you know, you can be at that stage for a long time, and it wasn't like the movies where a full gush was happening. Honestly, there was nothing. I just heard a pop and a little bit of trickling. So I went back to bed, and then at about 1:30, the contractions were intense, like insane from the get-go. And I tried all the different birth or labor positions that are supposed to help, like rocking on the ball, yoga ball, or going in the water. But nothing really worked. Honestly, I felt like there was no 0 to 100. It was just 100 right from the very beginning. And that ended up taking a lot of my energy, a lot. And I ended up getting things ready like raspberry leaf tea with coconut water and frozen grapes and things like that. But honestly, no position felt great. I wasn't interested in eating. I ended up laboring like that for a very long time. And it was crazy. I never had the feeling like I needed to push either, which was insane, because the whole idea is you're supposed to have this feeling of knowing when you need to push. I ended up losing my voice from all of the screaming I had been doing for while I was pushing, and 24 hours later ish. Keep in mind, I lost track of time. When you are a laboring woman or a laboring person, you really lose track of time and you have no idea what is going on. And I really couldn't talk very much either. So that being said, I also couldn't keep any food down at one point. So as the labor had progressed, oh, hello. As the labor had progressed, just nothing felt very good. And even water, tea, or not tea, I'm thinking about tea because I have tea with me right here while I take a sip. I couldn't keep any food down. I would just bring it all up. I was told that's your body making space for having the baby, and everything was fine until the baby's first poop was coming out, and I can't remember how to say that right. It's microbium. I'll just write it here so you guys know what it's called. I always say it wrong. I have dyslexia, everyone. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. But so we ended up calling the EMS, and we went into and the baby's heart rate at that point was starting to drop, and she was in the birth canal. She just wasn't, like, I could even feel like the top of her head, but she just wasn't coming out. So we decided, I was asked, do you want to go to the hospital now? And at that point I did, because I had run out of juice. I literally had no more energy. I could barely talk, couldn't keep any food down. So at that point I wanted to go to the hospital because I just wanted the baby out. So we went into the ambulance, midwife was with us, and we rushed there. So we were in a labor delivery room, and let me just tell you, there was so many people in one room. I had never seen so many people in one room. And of course at that point they were concerned about the baby's well-being and all of that kind of stuff. So they tried to use a vacuum, which looks like a little disc that's about this big on the top of her head, and they pump it so that the cord gets fed through, and that's what causes the suction on their head. She still has a little bit of scar, or it's not a scar, but right there, I know it's not, oh there we go, that is where they suctioned her out, and it's slowly coming off. It's just a scab now. And yes, so they tried to get her out once and it didn't work, and then they realized that she was facing the wrong way, as well as her shoulder was stuck, and that's why I wasn't able to birth her and why it was taking so long. So they ended up giving me an episiotomy, which really sucked because I was kind of hoping, I had been doing all of the stretching of my perineum and having avocado and dates and raspberry leaf tea in with no avail. I mean, I was doing it just because, you know, it doesn't hurt to do all this stuff. Maybe it would have been worse if I didn't. Maybe it wouldn't have mattered. I mean, to each their own. Again, you know, I was just thinking it couldn't hurt. So anyways, they had to give me an episiotomy, and I think they had to do that 2 more times. And it's crazy when they do this because they tell you that you need to push like you've never pushed in your life before, but you also can't make any noise, because if you make any noise, then you're using up your energy, which I found really interesting. And the nurse was all up in my face, because the first time I heard what they said and I tried, but then I made a sound and they were like, no, no, you're not doing it right. You have to do it without saying and without making any noise, and you have to push as hard as you can push. And when they had given me an IV for the Pitocin, they tried, you know, down over here where they're supposed to do it, and I ended up, they ended up popping the vein, and I ended up getting, it went, you know, a funny color, and then they had to do it in my arm, or in like where my arm bends, which is really horrible because, you know, then you can't do this. So anyways, yeah, so they got her out finally, and they gave me a whole bunch of blankets that were warm, which was really nice because I was super cold, which is very common for you to shiver and stuff like that after you give birth. So she was covered in baby's first poop. They cleaned her off. She had like a major cone head, and they wouldn't let me hold her or anything like that, and they rushed her to the NICU. They did let me give her a little kiss on the forehead before they took her away, and they put her in an incubator. So it had been a little bit before we were allowed to go and see her. So my husband wheeled me over in a wheelchair to go and see her, and this is what I find so horrible because of COVID, and it just makes me so sad because, you know, we were there for a little bit together to see her, and talking to another midwife that was there, and you know, I finally got to hold her for the first time, and I'll insert as many photos as I can, that you guys can see what, you know, what she looked like, and all of that stuff. And the first time I got to hold her and whatnot, I was bagged. I was so tired, guys. I mean, so was my husband. But they told my husband one of us had to leave because of COVID restrictions. Both of us couldn't be in the NICU at the same time. And that was really rough. So at first they said she was only going to be there for 6 hours, and then it became a total of 2 days that she was in the NICU. I know a lot of people have babies there longer, but I felt like we weren't really told why she was there, aside from her sugar levels were low. She was at about a 3, and I've been told that that's normal, but they wanted her to stabilize and they wanted her levels to be higher than that. Then it became, well, we've got to do a ultrasound on her head and make sure there's no internal bleeding and stuff like that. And then it became, oh, she needs to be able to keep her own body temperature, and not have to be in an incubator. So, you know, that was another different, there was all these boxes that she needed to tick before we were allowed to bring her home. Oh, hello. It was just, it was nerve-wracking to be able to have a baby and then not be able to bring them home, or not know, you know, what was happening and when we would be able to bring her home. I think if we had a clearer idea as to what milestones she needed to hit before we could bring her home, it would have been a little bit better. They wanted to keep me also overnight so that they could see if I was doing okay, because my white blood cell levels were really high, and they were concerned that I had an infection, which I didn't at the time. And then the next day I was able to be discharged, and through that time of her being in the NICU for the 2 days, I or my husband made sure that every day feed, so every 3 hours, one of us, and thank God with the hospital being so close, one of us was there to feed her. I tried to be the one that was there most of the time so that we could do as much skin to skin as possible. I was getting hand expressing as much colostrum as possible so that I could give that to her. And that being said, I wasn't sure how much milk supply I would end up having because of my grandmother and my mother did not have any milk, so I didn't want to put that kind of stress on myself as to not really know. I think she's slowly waking up. Knowing how much milk I would have. You know, it is what it is. She is home now. She was born 7 pounds 8 ounces and 52 centimeters long, which is insane because I am very, very short. I'm 5 foot nothing, and to have a decent sized baby like that, I didn't realize I was going to have such a big baby for someone my size. She is, like I said, a month, and she is now 9 pounds 11 ounces, which is insane. So she has grown a lot, and this onesie was one that we brought her home in, and she is filling it out very, very well, I must say. But my breastfeeding journey has been a big struggle because of her being in the NICU. She needed to have 40 mLs every feed, which I just can't compete, especially with being a first-time mom, and you know, your milk supply definitely comes in more and more and more the more children you have. So it's been a struggle, and I do pump to try and up my milk supply, but also she does not like, her latch is fine, but she likes to unlatch all the time, and she is a very, very, very touchy baby, and if I wait too long, she does not like the idea of going on the breast when she could just have a bottle put in her mouth. So that has been a struggle of ours as well, but you know, we're happy to have her home. I still feel like I'm healing because 7 days after having her, I ended up having an infection where the incision was made for the episiotomy. So if this is your vagina, mine was on an angle more to the right side, and of course because of the proximity it ended up getting infected. So, oh hello, someone's waking up. I needed to go on antibiotics, and the incisions started, or the stitches started to slowly come out, which means that everything, it was just a big gaping wound, and they couldn't restitch me because of it being infected, and so they said it was more superficial, and even the OB that delivered Riley said it was superficial, because I've gone to see her twice now, and a lot of sitz baths, a lot of just trying to keep the area clean by using a peri bottle, and it's almost completely healed, but there is still a area that is not fully healed, and this is, you know, 3 weeks afterwards. And so now I've got to still do all of these things, and hopefully a month from now it will be better. I can at least sit, because sitting was horrible. And let me just say that first of all, when people say that labor pains are like a bad period, they're lying. It is not true. Or it wasn't for me. Maybe for some people it is. And the other thing I wanted to say was postpartum, when all of your organs are going back to, you know, where they're supposed to live in your body, medicine is your best friend. At that point, I decided I'm not doing this natural. I need aspirin, Advil, whatever, because it is like your insides are doing flips on you. Honestly, it hurts so much. That I couldn't do it. I needed to be on pills. And then I also found that if I laid on my back too long, that was also very horrific. and very hard for myself. So that's why I did not want to take this much of a break from YouTube, and I didn't want to take this long to actually make this video as well. But honestly, I didn't feel up to it. I did not feel up to it. It was very, very hard for me to talk about any of this. And I think she is hungry. So we are going to feed her. So that's what she does. That's what makes this so difficult. 'Tis the life of a newborn. But like I said, I wanted to come on so much sooner. The depression was super hard, and the adjustment was hard, and me without sleep is very bad. And so it's really been a lot to deal with, a lot to manage, a lot to adjust to, being a mom. And I mean, I know I have fur fam, but it's totally different when it's a baby that needs you a lot more than a dog or cat would. And so, you know, it is what it is. But I do have a visit with my therapist soon, which I'm looking forward to. And, you know, getting help, there's no shame in getting help and asking for help and realizing that you need help. The great thing here is that after you do deliver, they do offer a lot of help in the sense of mental health, which is great, and I'm so happy that they do have that here. Thank you. I have a bottle ready just in case if I need it. She has actually latched, if you can believe it. I know, woot! I'm trying to use the nursing pillow more because this thing was expensive, and I do really like it. And look, it does make your arm so much lighter, like it doesn't bother so much more. I know. Because she gets heavy.
She does get heavy. She's
so
almost 10 pounds.
She's almost 10 pounds, mostly in the head, you know.
She almost weighs as much as my club.
Jesus. Yeah, and I've got noodle arms.
Gotta start swinging my club around.
I know, I clearly do, okay? Clearly. But, yeah, so I do feel very grateful to live in this country because they do have help for people that need mental health help after you have a baby, because it is no joke. Postpartum is a big deal. It is the 4th trimester is what I like to call it, and a lot of women do like to call it that. And you know, you need to also look out for yourself, because you know, your cup can run dry if you don't take care of yourself. And let me just track her pee, actually. I have this really cool app. It's called Huckleberry, and I absolutely really enjoy this app because you can track her pees, her poos, how much she eats, nap times. So all these different little ticks are different things like sleeping, eating, if it was the bottle or the breast, and that kind of stuff, which is really cool. And then you can also track your breastfeeding. So that is what I am doing right now. I like how this doesn't want to focus. There we go. So it is tracking my breastfeeding, which is super fantastic. I also just got a new phone. Look, I got a Gudetama case, which is super, super cute. Anyways, yeah, this is the Samsung SFE, which is crazy because my old phone, I had the Samsung S7, which is insane because I had that phone for 5 years? 6 years. 6 years I had that phone, and I didn't want to give it up because I just really liked it that much. But anyways, we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about giving birth. But that being said, wish me luck. Hopefully in a month from now, things will get better. I do want to do another video on things that helped me get through the first month, because there are a couple of things that I think have been so valuable, and I really hope it helps other people, because it's just, I feel like there is so much content out there as to things that really helped out a lot of people, but man, do I feel like I got really slammed with it, and I don't really feel like a lot of people talk about their postpartum experience and just being like totally out of commission. Like, I couldn't sit and I didn't really feel like I could connect with my baby. Like, it was really rough. So there are going to be other videos, but on this wonderful note, I will say goodbye to you all, and I will see you guys on the next video. And hopefully we'll be doing some like mommy studio vloggy from the bed videos. We will see, because I have been getting back into doing some art, which has been nice, just for my mental health and stuff. All right, another video for the next 24 hours of having a newborn will be coming out soon. I have looked it up. A newborn is considered the first 2 months of life, and then they are considered an infant, so I'm still within the range, so don't hate me. It has just been a lot to get around to doing that, and I figure it'll also be really fun content for me to look back on with her, for us to look at and be like, look at you in your first month of life kind of thing, you know? But anyways, I'll probably record that next week, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye.